I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational.
You can do it!
But that just wouldn't be our style.
Welcome to Project Reclamation, where you rebuild, re-energize, and reclaim your life.
What is up?
What is up, fellas?
We have another one of these? Are we doing another recording right now, bro?
Another episode of Project Reclamation.
Un otro
Reclamation.
episodico. I don't even know if that's how you say it.
Are we really on episode 17?
Is this the only
I
reason
know.
why we're friends still? Is because of this Project Reclamation record?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Part of me thinks that
Well,
that's the truth.
You know, is that a bad thing?
No.
No, not at all.
I think I have some friendships
It's not
that are
it's not a
based on
true
way
thing.
less.
We would be friends, obviously, but the fact that we
Yeah.
are recording a podcast and we live, well, two of you live in San Diego and I live in Nashville, the fact that this brings us together on a maybe bi-weekly basis, you know, that's that's a good thing. I think
a great thing.
I
can't get rid of us, JB.
I have been failing miserably as of late at keeping up with
The
acquaintances,
Kardashians. Oh.
friends, family. It's difficult to do with my mindset. So, I think a lot of people struggle with actually, even with the abundance of communication that we have, even just calling, picking up a phone or texting somebody, it falls by the wayside in a weird way.
It does.
So I think having a purpose and maintaining this friendship that we have, I think this has been a really good avenue for us to do so. And I appreciate it.
Well, I certainly appreciate that.
We sure do appreciate it.
Man. We already did our
fuzzy,
appreciation
fuzzy,
episode.
warm and fuzzies, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, man. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm bumming about something. You know how there was that story a long time ago where, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but I might be paraphrasing it. But it was like, hey, the son asked his dad to, put together a wedding list. And he was like, man, just invite every single person I know. I want everyone to be at the wedding or whatever, blase, blase, blah. And then when he showed up on his wedding day, there was only 7 people there. And he's like, Dad, I thought I told you to invite everybody I knew. And then he's like, yeah, I sent them all a mail saying that you needed help. You were in this terrible bind and you needed X amount of money or you needed X amount of effort. And these are the only people that showed up. And then he's like, these are your true friends. And then he's like, aw, man, good point, Dad. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, you've heard of that story, obviously. It's probably a Chinese one because it's so meaningful and impactful.
Probably a Chinese one.
Yeah, it's probably one of those
course,
old,
yeah.
Chinese fables and stuff.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
know,
if
Chinese
it's
proverb of
intelligent, it
finding
must
out
be
who your
Chinese,
friends are.
right?
Exactly. From the mouth of babes comes the truth. But anyways.
Babe, like the pig from the movie?
I
Yeah,
think
like
it
that
was
little bitty
babes
pig?
isn't- Yeah,
Aw,
I think
he was
that's what it
kinda
meant.
cute.
From the
He
mouth
talked-
of
I want
little
a talking
tiny
pig.
talking pigs comes the truth. But dude, I was in a jiffy 2 days ago and I called up a bunch of people. And yeah, they're nurses and yeah, they're working and stuff like that. But at the same time, no one has yet to this day called me back. And I said, whoa, man, I was in a bind. No one called me back. What a bunch of busters. Damn. That's the moral of the story. That not even... That's what the jiffy I'm in. That's the bind I'm in, bro. I don't think I have real friends.
Moral
except
of
you
the
guys.
story being...
Every week when I come to do this Project Reclamation recording, I think you guys are my only real friends.
You know what,
Hey.
though? When you get older, I think your circle of friends gets smaller.
It
And I don't think
does.
I don't think
Your-
that's a
your
bad
true
thing.
friends, the circle gets smaller.
Because you start having a lower tolerance for people.
Bullshit.
I mean, people.
Bullshit, people's bullshit, and you just start realizing, you're not really worth it.
Well,
and I will
I-
be serious.
Yeah.
They probably have other things like kids and families.
That's
and
no excuse.
Other
What?
stuff.
Kids and
Well,
family more
that was
important
that
than
was going to be
Steve?
my point.
No.
Is that people's
probably
time
have real lives.
gets quote unquote more valuable.
That's
let me
also
let me
Sometimes
let me
it doesn't. You just-
accentuate the air quotes here. More valuable.
more
valuable.
valuable,
More
Can you hear the air finger
valuable,
quotes?
because we talked about the whole being busy thing in the work-life balance episode. It's like there is something to be said. I mean, because you gotta balance that out. You gotta be like, okay, well, where does my time go? So
But I'm your best friend, Steven. You know what I mean? I'm
Exactly.
everyone's friend, Steven, though. You know what I mean?
spend time with the people that you've spent the most time with over the years.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that cool friend Steven? Yeah, that's him. Yeah. And then that's how it usually just kind of goes.
That is kind of how it goes.
Yeah. But anyways, it is what it is. I forgive them. I cannot change them. I have given the strength and the wisdom to know the difference between not changing them and also the courage to just
Wow.
face that issue head on.
Steve,
And that's me unifying those episodes.
Steve
Project.
just unified some episodes, and you took an early transition into a topic, and that's okay.
Hey, man.
So,
Hey, man.
let me know. So tell me this, Steve. You could be resentful towarred them.
I certainly could. You suckers,
and
you
could
busters.
you could just sit around and be mad about it.
Yeah, I am.
Maybe you could try to get some of them back.
Yeah, I am already
Maybe
plotting.
when they called you could be like, well, I'm
Hey,
just
man,
not gonna
click.
Call, click, bang.
Hey, I got some advice for you on your breakup or your impending bad situation. Click.
Hey, it's Steve. What's going on? Like, tell me something. Does this sound like someone hanging up on you?
Click, because it just
That's my
did.
favorite
Right.
one.
You're right, Tim.
Or-
I have been doing all that. Oh, go on.
Or so if you just don't answer their calls,
I could do that.
you're just real bitter about everything.
Yeah, I'm going to give them the golden treatment.
So you spend a lot of time doing that.
Yep.
Who loses?
Obviously, they do by not hearing this beautiful
Do they
baritone.
really,
Is that the
though?
point you're trying to get at, Tim?
Not so much, Steve.
Wait, what?
You spend so much time and energy about something kind of petty,
Mm-hmm.
you end up wasting a lot of your energy. And you know what? One of those phone calls from them might have been because they had free tickets to a concert and they needed someone else to go, and you missed out.
Everybody knows I hate music. They would never invite me.
A
I'm the
Padres
worst
game.
company.
Anything.
I'm already a season
Playboy
ticket holder.
Mansion
If you
Party.
didn't- Look at you unify these episodes one more time.
Playboy Mansion Party.
Rest in peace. I heard it's going through a remodel. The grotto's gone.
All I'm saying, Steve,
Yeah.
is you lock yourself in a prison of bitterness, angriness.
Dude, though, I think it's so easy to do. It's so weird.
What's
Like,
easy to do?
Locking yourself in a prison of bitterness and seclusion.
Freaking so easy to do. And the
Because
opposite.
I did it today. Like I had a phone call that I didn't recognize the number, and I was like scared to answer it. I was like, what? What am I? What? Like,
Okay, tangent. My father gave me this advice the other day. He's going through some things, a little legal battle thing, but he remembered that I told him I was recording on my phone calls, which was literally just because the three of us, when we talk on the phone, we say funny stuff and we come up with show ideas, and sometimes we don't remember. So that was the only reason I started doing it. However, so my dad asked me, so I told him the app to download. He did it, whatever, and he goes, "Hey man, I got a law of unintended consequences. I figured out how to get rid of telemarketers or people you don't want to talk to. All you have to say is, oh, by the way, I'm recording this phone call too," and he goes, "They hang up immediately." So I tried it the other day. Totally works. Yeah. I was like, they were like, "Oh, this conversation is being recorded for whatever purposes." I was like, "Oh, that's funny because I'm recording it too." And then just click, they're gone. So I just totally derailed
say it was
myself
gonna be a
here. So
tangent.
JB, you said it's easy to do, and I totally agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. And I think it's the path of least resistance that we all fall into. But how long and how much energy do you put into it? And then no matter if it's really a game or not, but don't the people that you're just resenting and wasting all your energy resenting, don't they win? Because honestly, what is terrorism? Keeping someone in terror. So, I mean, what is that? It's
Wait
the
a
same
second,
thing.
Tim. Are you telling me that I should not be bitter, not be angry, and not hold a grudge, and then
Kinda,
forgive
yeah.
them because the only person that really suffers is me because I hang on to and I still capture and I still imprison myself with all that anguish and resentment?
That is exactly.
You get
what I'm
out of
telling
here, man. They say that you learn something
blown.
new every day.
Now, I'm not telling you, though, that
And
you
it's
know
true.
when one of them calls you and asks you to help them move a couch or help them move to a different house, you have to help them. You don't have to do that.
My back is pretty weak now.
But-
with all the years of
This isn't the movie
training
Yes Man with
weightlifting.
Jim Carrey.
And I'm not saying that they deserve your forgiveness because they probably don't.
Well,
I mean, this is kind of a really mild
Everyone
example
deserves
of
a
this,
little
of what we're
Steve in
talking
their
about.
life.
However, they don't really deserve your forgiveness, but you deserve to just be rid of that whole thing.
Man,
it's freeing, Steve. You
But
can
let's be
move on.
real though with each other.
Yeah.
Like, isn't this a little like? I mean, man, that's a little big pressure situation for just a phone call. You know what I mean? I can't imagine someone that actually screwed me over.
Yes, it was a very mild example that we were
Yeah, it was a
using,
mild
and I think I
example,
took
but I
it
gotta
to
be
a
honest with you, it
kind of a
still hurt
higher
my
level
feelings.
here. It did hurt your feeling, and you know what, Steve? Your feelings matter.
They do.
They do. They do. Here's the deal with forgiveness.
Go on.
It's not for them; it's for you.
Hmm.
Because the more, if you're sitting, you're harboring all this resentment
True.
and hatred and whatever, it's gonna overflow into your life and your
Probably.
relationships and everything else, and you're just gonna
has.
let it. You're letting it keep you in this prison. And like JB said, it's so easy to go there because it is. Well, gosh, I really should have shown them. Like I'm gonna get them back.
Wow.
But you could go do other things with your life. So, like we were saying, you said that nobody really wronged you. Well, I mean, I was wronged pretty horribly in my last employment situation. And there was plenty of people who were like, oh, go get a lawyer, do this, do that. And it's like, I thought about it. I probably could have. I could have fought that fight for months and months, maybe years. Who knows? I don't know. Lawsuits are horrible. If you've never been a part of one, consider yourself lucky. But I chose, probably because of some good advice from some friends and family. But I mean, I chose to move on, and this goes back to our last episode and a bunch of our other episodes. I took stock of what I had. I got screwed over, so I could dwell on that and be mad at them or try to get vengeance on someone. But, if they did it to me, they're going to do it again and again, and eventually it's going to catch up with them. So I think that forgiving them allows you to move on and do better things. So I moved on. I bettered myself. I lost a bunch of weight. I got a better job. I'm in a way better place. And I don't care about them. I didn't let that kind of hold me back. Now, had I not let go of that, and the way that I feel is, if you have practices and habits that are such where you like to or don't care about hurting other people, eventually that's going to catch up with you. Call it fate, karma, God, a crocodile, a plane crash. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But at some point in time, that catches up with you no matter what you believe in. And I'm just going to trust in the universe that they'll be dealt with accordingly. But it's not my job to deal with them. And because I could let that go, that allowed me to focus on things that I could actually change and make better.
And to a certain degree, you were talking about being like, I was thinking like being self-righteous and being like, you hurt me. And that's such kind of a selfish place to be. The people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. It's like, how do you know that? How do you know that you've never wronged anybody else? So
I'm sure we all have.
Why are we sitting here thinking, oh, this person has wronged me? It's like, no, like this is a big cycle of actions. Yes, it may not be beneficial to you at this point, and like I said, this is to a certain degree. If somebody shoots you or harms you or someone in your family, that's a different story. But these little petty little things,
right,
that we dwell on and turn into making mountains out of molehills. It's like you need to look at yourself first, in my opinion, thinking, okay, this is what's happened to me. It rubs me the wrong way. There's some weird feelings here. What have I done to other people? Initially, this is just what I do when I get perturbed or offended or I'm mad at somebody. I think, first of all, I put myself in their shoes and be like, why did they do this? Okay, maybe because they're reacting to something I did. If that's not the case, okay, I think about, I just initially I think maybe I've done this to somebody else before. So, and if you take 2 to 10 seconds to think about that will just completely diffuse that situation enough for you to be able to rationally think about what's actually going on, so that you're not reacting 100% emotionally.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the whole thing about people not forgiving, is that the emotions just take over your mind at this point.
Right. But they keep you from doing the things that you could be doing that could benefit you and other people. And I mean, there's obviously certain industries and there's certain jobs and stuff where, your job is getting justice for whatever. And that's a little bit different. And I mean, if you're in an ongoing, I don't know, some sort of a legal thing, maybe that's obviously different. But if you've been screwed over by someone, thrown under the bus by someone, the more time and energy you waste focusing on that, then the more you're not actually accomplishing stuff that would make you and your life and everything around you better.
Yeah.
And it's very much like a prison. It's shackles. I mean, you
it's
free
stagnation.
yourself.
There's no forward movement in that situation.
There's some very extreme examples. People that have had horrible things done to them and lived for years just shackled up because they can't get past that and they can't move on. And part of it is to forgive someone who absolutely deserves no forgiveness, because you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for you, and you're releasing the job of justice to the justice officials. And however the situation plays out, it could be the legal system, it could be God or whatever. I mean, totally not going down that road, but you're releasing it to the professionals, to the people who are going to take care of that. And ultimately, by forgiving them, you're also just letting it go, and you are allowing yourself to move on and do what you were meant to do in this world, which is probably awesome things.
Well, and in many instances, I would say that people who wronged somebody else probably didn't do it maliciously. Now, like I said, there are many cases where they did do it maliciously, but where maybe somebody made a mistake, and
Yeah, it's possible.
they didn't mean to harm you.
No, absolutely.
You know,
Well,
and
I mean, it's like look at like road rage, for example.
yeah.
I mean, I don't love road. I've got
love road rage. is
I've
what you're saying.
had road rage plenty of times in my life. I dialed it back a long time ago when I got a sales job that forced me to drive all the time because that would have just probably put me in the hospital with a heart attack. But I just see so many angry people on the road for stupid shit, and it just drives me nuts. And I'm like, just let it go, people. Like, it's crazy how, you get someone cuts you off, and like maybe they did it to be an a-hole. Most likely they did it because they're in a hurry or they weren't paying attention. But it's just like, well, earlier, JB, I was on the phone with you and someone almost hit me and I had to avoid an accident. And like, I don't think that person was being an asshole. I think they were just being a douchebag on their cell phone.
No, and I think a lot of that is just complete unawareness of their surroundings.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's
but then
and again that will
happens,
come and bite them in the butt of it eventually.
Yeah,
it absolutely will.
Well, that's
people,
the thing.
I agree that people need to be more aware of their surroundings. I say that all the time, but I try not to get mad about it because I know they're just living their lives and they're trying to do the best that they can with what they've got. And unfortunately, they don't take into account those around them, and that's unfortunate.
Well, and
and maybe they're harboring or they're holding on to stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
them
they're
have,
obviously trying to
and it's
compensate for something by not
It's that never ending
by trying to be wherever they're at that much faster. Or they're late for work, and it's like everybody else has to pay for their being late, and that's fine. There's a story. My stepmom and her husband, they were driving down Anapamu Street, which is a street in Santa Barbara, which we're all from, and it was right by the Santa Barbara High School.
He pronounced it correctly, y'all who don't know Anapamu Street.
Yeah,
it's not an Anapamu.
It's not an Anapamu.
Yeah,
It's not an emu.
Anapamu. Well,
Yeah.
and so they were at a stop sign, and there was this like probably 14 or 15-year-old kid who's maybe a freshman and sophomore in high school, and my stepmom's husband was in a hurry, and this kid was just like walking super slow. Like obviously trying to elicit some sort of response, and he was controlling the situation at that point. My stepmom's husband was like, he was just getting so mad. And then my stepmom was telling me this story, and she looked at him and said, listen, he's at a point where this is the only probably point in his day that he can control. Is this one little instance where he's making this person not be able to go through this stop sign at the speed at which she should be going. And I still think about this to this day because I kind of put this template on a lot of different situations that, people piss me off. That's just them trying to control that little portion of their day. And
right.
When you look at it like that, I don't want to feel sorry for them because I don't like to feel sorry for people.
I kind of do though.
You kind of do. It's like, and maybe that's the way that you actually, get on with it. It's like, oh, okay, well, all right, dude, do what you got to do. All right. And then you realize that was the high point in their day was your low point in the day.
Right.
And when you realize that, it's like, oh, wow, I'm doing pretty good here. You
yeah.
know?
Or like during that thing, you just realize like, it's not really a low point of your day because you're just like, God, I feel sorry for this person.
Yeah.
Like their life
you may
obviously
construe it
sucks.
as
They
the low
hate
point in your
something
day,
about
but it's
their
like,
life.
yeah.
Well, and I was talking to you yesterday about my new observational approach to life. I feel like I've been paying a lot more attention to why people do what they do. Or, I mean, I don't know the answer to that all the time, but I at least speculate because I used to be kind of a more...
You're open to appreciate
right,
what people what and why people do what they do.
I find myself... It's funny you just told that story because we didn't talk about that before, but I find myself so many conversations where people are telling me like, oh, this person's such a horrible bitch, or this person did this, or this person did that. And I find myself so often saying, you know what? That person sounds like a miserable person and they probably hate their life. Like, why waste your energy being mad at that person? Like, they clearly hate their life because and maybe it's that they only have control that one little part of the day, or maybe it's just that they're so miserable because their home life sucks or whatever it may be. They just take it out on everybody because miserable people want everyone else to be miserable because they hate people that aren't miserable. But it's just a different take on things. And maybe thinking about that, maybe if you respond to those people without getting angry back at them, it could change things. And I haven't really experimented with this too much, so I have no idea. But if someone's miserable, maybe if they're being a horrible, miserable person, maybe I'll just try and make them laugh instead. I don't know.
Well, no, and
so much of the time I find that people are so worked up about something that someone did to them. And after I hear the story, I'm like, I don't think that had anything to do with you. Like, you were just
No.
in the line of fire, and I'm sorry that you went through that. But sometimes you just have to think about, like, don't take it so, like you were saying earlier, like, it's kind of selfish and self-righteous to take everything so personally. Now, some things
course
are
it is.
personal, and that is what it is. But a lot of things aren't personal. A lot of things are, Steve, you just talked to the wrong person, and they had a horrible, maybe they're going through a divorce. Who knows what's going
I did
on?
only call like 4 people. I bet
Well,
the fifth
you've
person
got to
might have picked up.
realize that you're not the hero in somebody else's story.
No, but you're the hero in your story.
That's right.
Then that's where
Super
that's
Steve.
where it comes down to, is that
And you're still writing it.
You think that everybody else's world revolves around. I mean, as human beings, as conscious beings, that's what we think, is we are the center. We are the center of our own story. So we can't project that onto other people.
No,
You know,
but
we
also
can't-
these people,
we can't
you
think
don't know
that-
them.
Yeah, you don't know them.
Or maybe you
You
do,
know?
but you don't know everything about them, Maybe
Yeah.
you work with Janice and Janice has been a real bitch lately, but you know what? Maybe
Damn,
she just
Janice.
found out that her husband's cheating on her. Or maybe
Oh, Janice.
maybe her kid, they just learned that their kid has some sort of learning disability. Or maybe her dog died. Or maybe her
Oh,
car broke
Janice,
down. Or
why'd
maybe
you tell me?
maybe her mom has cancer. I mean, there's so many different things that could affect the way someone
Yeah,
acts.
everybody's
and
got
they
their own story.
act
and
out
it's-
towards
yeah.
you, and it probably maybe could have nothing to do with you. So maybe think about things, take a step back, and don't always take things so personally. And
Well, just have some compassion, I think, too,
Exactly.
is the big thing, is try as best as you can to put yourself in their shoes.
now we've kind of covered. We're kind of going
especially
down.
in a situation like that where you feel like you're being wronged,
Yes,
but be like, hey, just take a step back. And I know it's hard, but it's
Well-
an exercise that you've got to try. Is just kind of take a step back and be like, why are they acting like that?
Well,
and
now we're giving
you
them-
thinking
we're giving
like
people
that.
2 reasons to forgive. One is
Yeah.
that the first one is some of these are my situation was absolutely malicious. There is no other way to look at it. It is what it is. I know the details, and at the end of the day, I let it go and I forgave them. I think they're ultimately going to do something that will bite them in the ass, and if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. I don't really care, but I have to forgive them so that I can move on and do better things with my life and end up in a better place without being this miserable person holding on to a bunch of bullshit. In these other situations, you want to forgive them, A, for the same reason, because being an angry, bitter person isn't going to serve you well in life, but also B, because you don't know why that person's doing what they're doing, necessarily. These are for probably some of the littler things. I mean, maybe like, I'm sure JB or Steve and I have snapped at each other for something that maybe we didn't understand.
Have I
I'm
ever?
sure it's happened. Although we can usually read Steve like a book. I'm like, oh, Steve, I hear your
emotions
voice.
Are on my sleeve.
Your
'Cause I wear
emotions
a
are
lot
on
of
your
sleeveless
sleeve. They're in
tank
your
tops all the
phone.
time.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Your emotions are everywhere. Steve's a very emotional creature. We
I'm
love
too
him, though.
emotional.
Well, we're all emotional creatures. Some of us just know how to
Right,
you
right.
know,
And so
circumvent
much of the
that
time,
emotional
you
response.
react on your own emotion, and you don't necessarily see that's the other side of the coin where that person has emotions too. And those emotions may be coming from a place where something that you don't even know about is affecting that. And again, it maybe has nothing to do with you.
Well, and being a human in this civilization that we're in right now, it's almost impossible not to react emotionally, given entertainment, given social media, given the news outlets. I mean, we are being groomed to basically react emotionally to every situation. I mean, it sounds very conspiratorial of me, but look at
yeah, but just-
everything
no,
that
but
we
you
are
have to-
we are that's put in front of us. Movies.
Everybody,
I mean,
FEMA
movies and
death camps.
just Hollywood in general, comedy,
They throw stuff
drama,
at you to draw
anything,
emotions
action.
out.
It's an emotional response that we are having to these things.
Dude,
And,
food
and
commercials.
it's good. I'm not saying it's entirely bad. I'm just saying that major Hollywood entertainment is not intellectual for the most part. We're not thinking about these things. We're reacting to these things.
Well, marketing is an even bigger example. I mean, every
Exactly.
commercial, every
Exactly.
food ad,
Every
down
commercial
to
that
the
we
colors
see.
that they use in the McDonald's franchise. I mean, everything is market research to
It's an emotional response.
The emotional response that people have. But I think sometimes your emotions can cloud your judgment, and not that you shouldn't have emotions, but sometimes you take a step back and you understand that, hey, these people have emotions too. Like, is this really personal? Did Steve just call me I don't know what Steve called me. What
I
did you call me,
believe I
Steve?
called you a stegosaurus.
Stegosaurus. Did Steve just call me a stegosaurus because he hates me personally?
Yes.
Or is it because he was watching some dinosaur special on Discovery Channel, or maybe it's his pet stegosaurus just died
Both.
and he's a little bit sad,
Ugh.
but he doesn't know how to
Why,
manifest
Steggy?
his sadness
Steggy.
that Steggy died. So
Steggy, why?
there's always another story behind the interaction.
Yeah.
And you know your
That's
story,
true.
but you don't know their story. And depending on who that person is, I mean, if you're in traffic, it is what it is. Just let it go, But pulling over to the side of the freeway to have a fight with a stranger, probably not a great idea.
Dude,
However,
there's plenty of videos on the internet that show you exactly how bad an idea that is.
Seriously,
it's a terrible idea.
I don't know if they're like mandated to have them, but the Russian dash cam videos are some of the funniest shit I've ever seen.
I think I don't know who I was having this conversation with recently, but they were talking about buying a new car. They're like, I think I'm just going to put dash cam in. I was like, oh, you mean like all the Russian people? Well, because there's so much corruption over in Russia that people are intentionally hitting cars for insurance purposes and stuff like that. And I think
is your friend's name Yevgeny? And is
I thought there was only two names in Russia, like Ivan and
Igor.
Igor, Boris.
Igor and
Boris. Yes.
Boris. Oh, there's three names.
Yes.
Da.
This is my field.
Hello, my name is Milosh. Milosh is another one. My name is
Milosh is Russian.
I don't think
it's
so either.
Milosh.
Is that like
so blurred?
Is that like your mama's recipe of Milosh? Wait, meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
Chinese
Milosh with ketchup.
Milosh with ketchup.
Was that a stretch? That was a stretch, wasn't
you
it?
Put the ketchup on and then you bake it. Dude, we're getting way off track here.
Yeah.
So, JB, I forgive you
on.
for not knowing how to make meatloaf. Wait, what? I don't know.
You forgive me for making a terrible joke.
Oh man.
I'm a really good cook, I think, and so do a lot of other people think. But meatloaf is just one thing that I almost never got right.
What was the last thing you made? I don't think I've ever. When was the last time I ate something?
I've cooked very little since I.
Excuses. What was the last thing you made? Even 8 months ago.
I make a lot of stuff, dude.
Was it pizza?
No, I don't. I've made pizza.
Delicious.
I like to grill stuff. Actually, that's a lie. I grilled a tri-tip a few weeks ago.
What? You didn't invite me?
It was my tri-tip to
is the most
invite you.
delicious piece of meat in the whole
tri-tip
world.
was I don't know if invented.
Take that, Oklahoma,
Santa Maria, California.
The tri-tip cut was originated, I guess you would call it.
And until recently, you couldn't really find tri-tip in a lot of places.
Now it's
Trader Joe's was probably the most widely spread place that you could.
Yeah,
find
you're right.
tri-tip.
You're right. But I mean, when we were growing up, you mentioned the word tri-tip
shops,
in any other city
no one got
outside
it.
of our county, and nobody understood.
So here's what it is, boys, and I'm not gonna lie to you. As a proud 805er, tri-tip has that big old slab of fat usually on one side, and then you're like, delicious, because that's the side that's gonna get all the flavor in it, and that's the side you season. You just let all that fat just trickle on down in the meat. But I was also in like Warwick, Warwick, Rhode Island, and I was with this person. And we were at this local meat shop, and then they were like, oh, man, we got tri-tip in here. And I was like, what? You guys got tri-tip? And they had cut off all that fat. They had cut off all those extra good trimmings. And I was like, wait, what? And it literally looked like just like regular old steaks. And he's like, yeah, our dealer just kind of sent this to us, and we had no idea what to do with it. So we just, they had all this fat on it, so we just cut it all off, and we just had these little triangle, burnt end pieces, kind of just hanging out there. And I was like, what? That's the best part. And I basically talked to them for maybe about 4 or 5 minutes. And I told them how delicious that part was and how essential it was that you flip it over after that side's all cooked and roasted, and you let all that fat just soak on. It's delicious. Just talking about it. You put like a whole little tri-tip roast that you go get at Costco, and you just go ahead and slip that in between 2 pieces of Wonder Bread and call it a day. That's a great sandwich.
Or
to
a
take
Kaiser
to work.
roll.
Or a Kaiser roll.
Oh,
or
the best. You guys are gonna exactly know what I'm talking about when I say the best tri-tip sandwiches ever.
Cold Springs Tavern?
Yes.
Oh, I knew you were going to say Cold Springs Tavern.
Cold Springs Tavern is amazing.
If you drive that 20-minute drive up that one,
it's an old stagecoach
San Marcos
stop.
Pass.
So you got to drive through these windy roads. There's a really cool bridge.
Maybe you're on your way to go gamble or wine taste.
Pretty amazing.
Or see Michael Jackson's old stomping grounds.
You can go see Michael Jackson's old stomping, or you can go see Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, in Los Olivos.
Yeah. So you go
that
up
means
there. They have a restaurant inside, and you can sit down, and they have some really cool stuff. I think
Don't do it.
Weird chili. No, dude, the chili's amazing.
They have venison and rabbit.
It was like a venison,
and
rabbit, chili, and that's. Anyways, outside they have this huge grilling area, and they're just grilling up massive amounts of tri-tip for the tri-tip sandwiches, and the tri-tip sandwiches are amazing. If a tri-tip is cooked properly, you don't even need sauce or anything.
Nope. No.
You could put a little bit of salsa on there or something, maybe some El Yucateco.
Tri-tip is very reminiscent of brisket in the way that it's not
a lot like
most
brisket.
tender cut.
It's probably a little bit. It's more tender than brisket, but yeah, I mean, you don't.
It needs to be cooked properly and cut properly because they cut it against the grain.
Right, exactly. It has to be cut against the grain.
Which is kind of counterintuitive. Well, I guess maybe not.
And it's something. It's like a roast. You cook the whole thing and then you slice it. What's it called?
This is just some real 805 talk right here, right now, man.
Yeah, so 805.
I'm telling you, you guys, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, just go on 805beer.com. They're not one of our sponsors or anything like that, but they have this beautiful video of the Santa Maria Elks Lodge and how they have this like annual or just weekly or just daily tri-tip cookout. And it is literally just a bunch of old men sitting around these big old raised fire pits like Santa Maria style, and then they just start grilling away. And you just, if your mouth doesn't water, and if you automatically just don't go to your local Safeway and try and see if you can order some of those bad boys right off the market, and if you're not in your backyard trying to create one of these raised fire pits, I don't know who you are. It's delicious.
Yeah, we should go build one right now.
That's what I'm saying. Just by me even saying it through the third person, Tim's already just got his bricks and his like bricklayer mortar all just set up right now.
I'm just saying, I can smell tri-tip sandwiches right now.
I think I just
In your
smelled tri-tip,
clothes.
but that's okay. Well, thank you for derailing this
If
discussion.
you think a beautiful,
into-
Well,
if you think a
I
girl's all
forgive you.
beautiful and she comes from
Oh,
805
thanks,
and
buddy.
she smells like tri-tip,
Thanks,
just
buddy.
sits in her hair because all that grease is in her hair. Delicious.
Oh, and dude, the smoke from the
I
pit that they cook the tri-tip in, it
'Cause all that
totally
fat
sticks.
burns off into
it
it.
sticks in your hair. It
That
sticks
fat
in
just,
food,
like,
and you know
drips
what?
into it.
Such a
and it
good
just-
smoke. though.
Unlike cigarette smoke that you wake up and want to puke from smelling it because you smoked a pack of cigarettes because you were in Vegas and
You
you
just
hadn't done it
breathe
in
in that
weeks.
girl's hair.
But yeah, that tri-tip
Delicious.
barbecue, you all leave like, oh, look, you guys all put on the same cologne. Oh yeah, it's called a barbecue. pit.
Yeah, it's called
And
a
it's
raised
delicious.
barbecue Santa Maria style pit.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Delicious.
But see, Steve, if you had been harboring all this anger, like you
Yeah.
would have even gone to the barbecue
I
pit
wouldn't
and
have.
eaten the tri-tip, and you would have missed out on the tri-tip.
I
You would have
would
been able to
have.
enjoy it. You'd be like, well, I don't want to go to this place because nobody calls me back, and I'm Steve, and I'm just gonna.
Nobody
cry.
called me back. Well, Steve, we have a tri-tip cookout. What?
Yeah.
Forgiven? You get over here, baby. Bring it in for a real thing. I need a hug.
Belly.
Slap it on me, man. Where's the sandwich, though? You said limitless sandwiches? Limitless? No,
Limitless?
well, just one per
Limitless?
customer. Okay, give me a
Isn't that a
half
movie?
hug, baby. That's how
Steve,
it is.
yeah. So sometimes Steve just sits at home alone in his house and just slathers himself with tri-tip.
Yeah, I do.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And you know
Nothing
what?
at all.
Don't
Nothing
judge
at all.
me. This is some real 805 talk, man. This like really sends me back. This sends me back.
I feel
193
like
miles
people
north.
need some 805 talk because we were super fortunate to grow up in a very amazing place that had we had access to like a number of really amazing things. One of them being the Cold Springs Tavern tri-tip sandwich that basically was just a Kaiser roll, tri-tip, and pico de gallo.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I feel like
a little bit of
I
salsa
wanna-
is
I wanna
definitely acceptable.
I want
on
to
a
promote
tri-tip.
that because
You could put
that was
anything
it
you
was one of the wonders of the world.
Well,
you
yeah, and
know?
then I feel like every event that we had, everything there was always a tri-tip.
Oh, it revolved
Girl,
around
I'm not
tri-tip.
gonna lie
You
to you,
know,
though, too.
school jogathons. I mean, fundraisers, any big large
Jog
barbecue.
your 6 miles so you can get your 1 pound of tri-tips.
Yeah, you go and
so
you
good.
cook tri-tip, and it was like it was this weird like social glue that you.
If you
know-
didn't have it at an event, people were like, "What's wrong, man?
yeah, especially
What
yeah.
happened to you, dog?"
I just every barbecue, every event we ever had in Santa Barbara growing up, it was always tri-tip, some generic salad with some ranch dressing,
Yeah.
and then like
Agreed.
some other sides like potato salad and like whatever, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. Maybe some
Grilled
corn.
chicken and that Santa Barbara.
There was the
ranch
chicken for all the people who don't really like. Oh, chicken ranch chicken
chicken
is
ranch
good.
chicken.
It's got
Oh,
nothing on
chicken
tri-tip though.
ranch.
Oh no! It doesn't. But dude, at the same time, whatever that orange paint that they paint that with, that's
Chicken
their
ranch
seasoning.
is kind of like a way better version of
game
El Pollo
over.
Loco, but local.
Game
Yeah,
over,
it's El Pollo local.
It's El Pollo Local, dude.
bro. You know,
You
Millie
need to,
B.
you need to send him that. And
Millie
Dude.
Betancourt got
charge them.
married, and I remember
Seriously,
Millie
I
Betancourt
think
got
that
her
I just came
whole
up with
wedding.
their latest marketing strategy.
Welcome to El Pollo Local,
Local
where we got the
chicken.
best chicken in the 805. There you go, right there, dude. You're their new marketing director.
No.
What can I say?
Dude, I'm telling you. Like I said, Millie B. You remember Millie Betancourt? She got married, and her wedding was catered by Chicken Ranch, and I remember it was just like, holy crap! It was like a plethora of never-ending chicken and tri-tip, and those little tortillas that they have, and then the
Oh,
beans and
yeah.
rice combination. And I said, "What? Say
What?
At Stowe Canyon Park? What?
Okay.
What
Wow.
are you doing
You're taking me
this
back,
I
Steven.
know, bro. I know. Oh, I'll give a shout out to the Turnpike exit. Oh, man.
Turnpike.
I'm telling you. No one more
Turnpike.
proud of the 805.
Off,
than me.
off the 101.
On the
in
101.
Goleta,
You
California.
know, a funny story, and when you're in Goleta or Santa Barbara and you're giving someone directions, everyone just says get on the freeway because there's only one.
only
I mean,
one.
there's a couple of highways, but really,
No,
it's
there's
the
only
freeway.
one. It's the 101.
Get on
and
the
it's
freeway
through.
and get off here. Now that we're in San Diego, it's like, oh, you get on the 5 and go over to the 52 and then get on the 805 and then over to the 163 and
I used to be like, hey, man, I want to hang out with you. Yeah. All you got to do is just take the 94 all the way out to Lemon. No. No, that's too far.
No, sorry, I don't go east.
The
of
94.
I don't go east
What
of
is that,
College
man?
Avenue.
Where is that, bro?
Euclid Avenue. No, thanks.
So what part of the 8 do I need to go on, and what part do I need to get off on?
How far
Because
up the
that's-
15 do I need to go?
I was like, I don't think you understand exactly. My world exists on the 8. 8 West or 8 East, only until pretty much 70th in Murray, in like Lake Murray, but that's it.
Is El
I wouldn't
Cajon
go
off the
I wouldn't
8?
go any further than that.
El Cajon is off the 8.
Yeah.
El Cajun.
El
El
Cajun.
Cajun.
You got to go a little north to get to Lakeside or Santee.
Santee.
I shouldn't say it. I shouldn't even say it. And we might have a listener. We might have a listener out in Santee.
I love, you know what? Santee's actually gotten a lot nicer. Actually, every
bet
part
you
of San
it
Diego is
should've.
getting nicer. I was visiting my buddy down in Chula Vista ish. I mean, East Lake. They already pimped out East Lake.
Yeah.
But now just there's all these like microbreweries going to Chula Vista, and they have all these like new strip malls and stuff. And that's what I noticed in Santee is all these like new strip malls. You know, it's your standard strip mall with like a Best Buy and like a Home Depot and I don't know, a bunch of restaurants, chain restaurants, whatever. I don't like chain restaurants.
Well, that's not what your Red
What was the
Lobster
point of
shirt
that?
says.
I have no idea, dude.
He was just his name dropping.
I was giving Santee and Chula Vista some credit for nicifying themselves.
So
Chula Vista actually has an Olympic Training
Carmel
Center.
Mountain. That's where I used
North.
to sell cell phones.
North.
You used to sell cell phones at Carmel Mountain?
Yeah.
Like what? How did you get involved in that, bro?
I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Well, sometimes a job is just a job. You know, you gotta. But how did you end up at Carmel Mountain, bro? Like, was there not somewhere closer?
not that
No,
far
I
away.
sold cell phones at the Fashion Valley Mall in San Diego for a while.
Nothing wrong
and
with
I
that.
don't know if maybe it was the same company.
Oh, they just farmed you up there.
God, you worked at a mall? I would have shot myself.
No,
I
it
worked
was.
at
It
a
was.
mall.
Oh, yeah, I worked at Fashion Valley Mall at a kiosk.
Oh, you did a kiosk though. That's
Yeah,
tough.
that was
That's
tough.
like- 'cause
but I
that's
was
like-
like,
that's like
I was
8 hours
21
that you
years old.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend at the time worked at Godiva right next door, so we'd get out and.
Oh my God, that's like a
shoot.
bad movie.
I know,
No.
and she
You
would
worked,
bring me.
you worked at the mall, these places next door to each other.
This is
bag
like your
fulls
traditional
of
mall, though. If
chocolate
you don't know
covered
Fashion
strawberries,
Valley-
and it was
Oh my God.
amazing.
Fashion Valley is like really pretty. I mean, it's a nice mall, and it
God,
still
it's
has maintained
horrible.
its beautiful mall picturesqueness.
Tim does
Yeah.
not like malls.
Who?
Me.
Oh, Tim.
No
does
mall
not-
for Tim.
Malls are on the decline too, because who the fuck? Who the hell
Online
wants to go to a
shopping, dude,
mall?
thank you, Amazon.
Brick and mortar stores are on the decline.
For
Thanks,
sure.
Jeff Bezos.
Oh man, he gets it.
I think
though.
there's a bubble though. I think they'll kind of come back a little bit.
There always is a bubble.
You have to find the niche.
Yeah.
You got to figure out how to
Well,
get
like
people in
La
the
Cumbre
stores.
Plaza in Santa Barbara.
Is it? I know. I heard.
Well, it's all
Dude,
super high end
all fancy
stores.
now.
It's like Tiffany
But
and
maybe-
Company, and
But maybe
You know.
maybe that's what people want though. I don't know.
well, of course, because it's right next to Hope Ranch, which is one of the most affluent communities
Well, and
in California.
Maybe for
You
maybe
mean
for
Hoe
kind
Branch?
of like Hoe Branch. Maybe for sort of middle
Yes,
class type
Hoe Branch.
items, people are more likely to buy them on Amazon. Maybe for stuff like Tiffany and stuff, maybe people are less likely to buy them online. I don't
Well,
know.
because those are luxury items that you want to go put your hands on before you
Well,
buy
yeah.
them.
That's also true.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Crate and Barrel, all that stuff. The weird, Williams and Sonoma, which you can buy online, but at the same time, it's kind of a status thing. You walk
You
into
gotta
Williams
feel that
Sonoma, and
salad
you're
bowl
like,
before picking it
I
up.
want to
man.
buy lots of expensive cookware that I could get at Bed Bath and Beyond, but
I feel like some people just want to buy it so they can walk through the mall with that fucking bag,
Yeah, I guess.
whatever that bag may
For
be.
sure.
Like,
Or
oh,
have it
look
look-
at
or
my-
have it look really
look
good
at my
hanging
new bag
from the
from
rack in their
Tiffany's.
kitchen.
Oh my God. Yeah. Sorry, negative Tim just came out for a second. I put him back in the box.
it's okay. Jack in the Box.
Jack in the box.
Jack in the Box.
Wow,
Yep.
we're retarded today.
No.
It's awesome.
No, it's
We're-
great.
we're
I
hitting our
mean,
stride.
we've talked about forgiveness, and we've had some good pearls on it.
we have, and I mean, we can't make it any longer because it's so simple. But it's so simple to talk about. It's not so simple to do.
Yeah.
But
No,
try
just like
it
anything
out.
else, it's really simple to lose weight. You just have to do
Try
it.
it
It's the
out.
same thing.
And I think it has a little bit to do. I was telling JB this, and I don't really know how to explain it, so I'll do my best. But I have sort of taken a new approach to people and life. Not new, but just a little bit different. I don't engage myself so deep into something that I can't see the forest through the trees. I try to take a step away from everything, and especially when I'm with Steve or whatever, talking to someone, I'm giving them my attention. But in just sort of general social interactions, I've started to be more observant and sort of be open to the observations, like not just your snap judgment, but kind of thinking about like, well, what's behind that? What's what is this person going through maybe? And like I was saying, a lot of people complain to me apparently because that's just what I'm realizing. But with people when they're complaining about people being mean or this or that and other, I find myself, without really thinking about it, just saying, well, maybe, you don't know what they're going through. Like it sounds like this person is miserable. Like you don't need to pile onto that. Like just don't spend time with them. It's fine. Like I feel sorry for them, to be perfectly honest. So, I mean, I think that's maybe a little bit of a pearl of wisdom, or maybe not.
Well,
just, try to be more observant.
You're talking about being more
open.
observant. The more observant you are, the more facts you can gather about a situation, the more educated decision you can make about that situation.
There you go.
It's logic. It's just basic logic. You're removing the emotion, or you're lessening the emotion as much as you can from that. And that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of maturity to be able to do that. That's a difficult thing, and the fact that you've reached that is a big win for you, because a lot of people don't know how to do that. They don't know how to be like, okay, I want to speak, educatedly. Yeah, as I say that about this situation. So I want to be able to listen and to formulate the best response I can. So the way I do that is I listen and I gather the most facts that I can about it in the given time provided, and then I formulate what I can about it. I mean, if you're an author, you're not just going to go and write emotionally about a topic. Maybe you are if it's an editorial, but you're going to gather facts, you're going to analyze it, you're going to do that, and then you're going to present your work. And this is just a small kind of microcosm of that sort of way of thinking. Is that you as a human being have gone through the whole emotional spectrum with a lot of different situations, and you've come to the realization that at this point you want to be able to speak as educated as you can about certain things, as more logically as you can about things. And that's where you've come to, and that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it just started with baby steps. I mean, it was just a matter of, I don't know what it was. It was just I started realizing that things are more interesting if you take a step back. Just in general. I mean, you're not always getting, it's like you're getting the news version of a story, which is what other people want you to hear about the story. You're not getting the whole story. And I'm going to say something really stupid right now, but you have 2 eyes and 2 ears and 1 mouth.
You do.
So you should be looking at everything and listening to everything more than you're talking.
Yeah.
You gather more information.
It's simple math.
It's simple math. It is.
Science.
Well, and then you can formulate your actual emotions due to a situation with all the facts instead of without all the facts. And that's what we were talking about, being inundated with news and all this other stuff. I mean, that's what they want. They only give you what they want you to hear, and they want you to base an emotional response on that towards a person or an event or whatever it may be. I say they, like some ominous they, the Illuminati. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But ultimately, the more you can observe about a situation and the more you can kind of stop for a second and think about what the other person may be going through or what is going on, period, then I think that gives you a full range of the situation. But ultimately, with the whole forgiveness thing, things are going to happen. Sometimes they're malicious, sometimes they're not. The more you hold on to grudges, and I can't think of an example right now. I'm sure there's a good time to hold on to a grudge. Every rule has exceptions. However, I think that the more you hold on to that, you're basically just creating a sort of a bitter cage to keep yourself in, and it's going to make you angry, and it's going to make you unproductive, and you're not going to treat other people, and then you're going to end up being the person who does something to somebody, and they get mad at you because they don't understand why, when really they had nothing to do with it. And then it's just a big circle of shit. So let's try to keep the circles happy, people.
Well, and I want to add too is that this is kind of a theme that's been going around the internet right now, and I bring up Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's a huge proponent of this idea, is that negativity is louder than positivity.
Yeah, but positivity sounds bad.
And I'm just saying on face value, people respond to negativity because it's like a drug. It's people. It's true. It's louder. People speak louder about negativity than they do about positivity because it elicits that sort of drug-induced reaction. It's fun to dig into negativity. It's like, oh yeah, I want to be, misery loves company. It's just that whole sort of cesspool of grossness. So, if you can make positivity louder, that's how you get rid of it. You just focus on it and you make it louder and you talk about positivity. You look at the situation that was negative and you think, how can I spin this positive? How can I think about the fact that, this person probably didn't mean to do this to me. Or if they did, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger person and I'm going to forgive them because you know what? I don't want to perpetuate this negative thread of actions. I want to stop it in its tracks. I want to nip it in the bud.
I never
Boom.
understood that saying.
Nip it in the bud?
Yeah.
It's a rose. It's a pruning it. It's
Yeah, you're
that makes
pronouning. You're
sense.
pronouning. Pronouning.
Proning.
You're
JB's
pruning.
probing. JB's
Yeah.
getting probed.
Totally proning myself.
That's it.
I totally agree with you, man. I think you can find positivity in anything. I
You
was talking to a
can.
friend-
It's just if you want to or not.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I was talking to a friend of mine, and we actually became friends. We work in the same industry, and there's this stupid Christmas party every year, and we became friends because there was this other person who was in charge of inviting all of the people to the Christmas party, and because we were all technically competitors in this space, she left me and this friend of mine off, and we weren't friends at the time, but we both got left off the list multiple years, and we ended up going anyways because people talk. But then at the party we were talking about it, and we had both gotten left off this list, and it was obviously done maliciously. And so we've just kind of like bonded over a common enemy, I guess. And so we've always just sort of jokingly talked about this person, negatively. Well, I was talking to this person the other day, and I was like, you know what? Maybe we should thank this person because it's really because of her that we're actually friends. I was like, so maybe it was all meant to be. Like, she was meant to be malicious towards us so that we could actually become friends, because that was kind of the catalyst to our friendship. This person just laughed, and I thought that was funny. And they were like, well, that's a really positive way to look at things. I like it. So, I mean, I think anything can be looked at positively, and maybe not so much positively, but, we always say, if you lose, you learn. If you win, you win. So like, if it's something negative, what can you learn from it? How can you look at it differently? How can you make it, twist it, turn it, spin it, M. Night Shyamalan it?
Shyamalan. Guess what? He was dead.
I see dead
right.
people.
He wasn't made of glass the whole time. I don't like that one. That was a terrible movie.
They pretty much all were after the first one.
The Girl in the Water? Actually, I only saw.
I don't even know if I made it through that whole movie.
Yeah. Well.
Swing away,
Swing away,
Joaquin
Meryl.
Phoenix.
Swing away.
Swing away, Meryl.
Guess what? The aliens were allergic to water. Bum,
Guess
bum,
what?
bum.
Guess what? That movie, I thought it was about aliens, and it turned out it was about religion. I felt cheated.
Wait,
I felt
that movie was about
swindled.
religion?
Yes, dude. It's all about him. He was the preacher that lost
it's
his
about
faith,
losing-
and he went
losing
to
your
find his
faith.
faith.
So
I
wait,
felt cheated. I
how did
thought
he
it was about aliens.
How did
I mean,
he find his faith through the aliens in the water and then
I don't
Dakota
know.
Fanning character?
All I know is I remember watching the fucking movie, and I was like, "This is a hoax to get me to watch a movie about religion," and I don't like it.
So what movie did he get you to watch? About
I have no
religion?
idea.
Oh.
No, what?
What?
Huh?
Huh?
What?
There was that movie about the bees, and like the bees were all gone, and everyone was walking in
I don't
reverse,
remember
and
that
they were
movie.
killing
Is
themselves.
that the one where Jerry Seinfeld played an animated bee?
No, that was the bee movie. What's up with this hottie?
What just happened?
Oh my god, this hottie call.
JB, save me.
Look, I gotta be honest with you guys. Forgiveness is so much harder than just being angry at someone. Angry at someone, I don't think takes very much effort, because the effort there is just being like, "Rah, you wronged me. I don't like you."
So why do it then, Steve?
Why do it? Because why be angry?
No. Why? If forgiveness is so much harder and being angry is so much easier, why do it?
Why do it? Because it's easy. It's a
No.
path of least
Why
resistance on how to create a
choose
feeling.
the harder one?
Why choose the harder
Why
one?
choose forgiveness over being angry?
Well, it's the more rewarding. It's the more fulfilling one.
All right.
And it's the more releasing one. I gotta be. I mean, let's take it
Do you
back.
have an example or a story for us?
No, I mean I have plenty of stories and I have plenty of examples, but it's just like the hard part is that I don't want to out any of my current grudge. No, there's no grudges. Damn, Brett's just walking around without a shirt on in this whole place, dude.
Yeah.
What a stunner! What a stunner. Here's what it is.
Shout out to the keto diet. Brett's lost like
Is
40
that what-
pounds.
Is that what it is? I'm angry at him for showing it off right now, bro. Oh, but I'm also proud of him though too. So, no, I think it's just about being responsible with your emotions. And if you can be angry at somebody, guess what? That's kind of an emotion that you can also kind of turn it around and say, hey, I can be compassionate for this person too. And yeah, it's about showing mercy towards somebody. If you really, really are genuinely like jealous or mad at somebody for something wrong that they did, there's always that example of that person that their family member's been murdered, and then they go to the prison and visit them, they give them a hug, and they hug it out, and they say, I forgive you. That takes so much strength, that takes so much courage, and that takes so much honesty to be that free and free yourself from that pain. Because I got to be honest with you, even in the person that's wronged, that does know or does not know that they wronged you, I mean, I don't think that they want you to feel like that much hurt and that much anguish if you're still carrying it around years, decades, however long afterwards.
Well,
I don't think you want to
and-
feel
Or,
that way
but
either.
if
And those
even
people
if they
who-
are, then by forgiving them, honestly, you're taking away,
You take away
the
that
control they had
power
over
that
you,
they have
and you're
over
giving
you.
the control back
exactly,
to yourself.
because if they were doing it maliciously, they want you to be in pain, and if you're not
And
in
guess
pain,
what?
you're robbing them of that.
And you
if
turn
they
that
didn't,
cheek,
if they didn't do it maliciously, then you're understanding that the fact that they were in a dark place, or they made a mistake, or they,
People
and
make mistakes,
you're being a better human being.
Go ahead and be the bigger
You know?
person in that situation. Go ahead.
Well, and I think there's
It's worth
probably been times when, maybe that person, they did something horrible and malicious and unforgivable, but maybe it had something to do with, I don't know, experiences in their childhood, whatever. Or maybe there's no excuse
Or maybe
at all.
lack
But-
of experiences.
Well, that's fine.
True.
But I guess what I'm saying is when they got forgiveness from someone who they didn't deserve it from, that could be one of those moments that turns people's lives around. And not that that's why
it's
you
a
do it.
huge
You do it
learning
for yourself.
experience.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
fact
it's
that
like
maybe you
another
didn't
example.
know that was even possible from a human being.
Another example is one of the gymnasts that came out, and she had been abused by that horrible guy that we won't talk about his name, and she came out and said, I forgive him. And
That's
does he
strong
deserve my
stuff.
forgiveness? No, but I refuse to be locked in a prison where he controls me, and to move on, I have to forgive him. And she goes, I'm not forgiving him and saying he should be freed of everything, but I'm freeing myself of this pain and this prison to allow God and the legal system and whoever's doing this to, decide how justice is served. And it's no longer my fight, because it never was.
Every day keeps going. Like, whether you harbor a grudge or whether you resent something, the days keep going. Like, honestly, the days will just keep on happening. The sun will still continue to rise, whether or not you hate Jim, Joe, John, or Sally. Like, so just, I don't know. It takes a lot of effort to move a mountain, but if you can just kind of let it go, I think that's a huge, huge step in the right direction to free yourself from any kind of additional pain or any kind of additional anguish that you might be just harboring, and that might even have like negative effects on you from here on out. It's easier to do that in the long run, or even in the short term. Just let it go. Just let it go.
Yeah, or turn it into something else.
Use your energy on something else.
Yeah.
I don't know, like something more positive with your life. Create something from that passion, because at least if it can hurt you that much, at least you have that much passion about something.
Yeah,
you can feel that strongly about something.
Well, I
Use
mean,
it towards something good.
You dam up a river, it overflows.
Boom.
Maybe that's what you want.
That's what JB learned from the
JB
school of
eats
beavers.
too much dairy and he has some issues.
What's
JB
up?
went to.
I said JB eats too much dairy and he has some issues.
Exactly. And
Get all blocked up.
sometimes I enjoy the pain.
Sometimes.
Most of the time I don't, but I forgive myself for eating that cheese.
Yeah. But no, like you're saying though, I mean, all that water has to go somewhere. All these emotions have to go somewhere, and you gotta let it go,
And you gotta make sure that the villagers downstream have something to drink.
That's right. That's right. That's also true.
Yes, and then you have to build an ark. Wait, what?
Yeah, because it's gonna rain and it's gonna
Right.
flood and there's gonna be powers that are out of your control.
Yes.
So build the boat and put animals on it.
Do it.
Put two of each so they can have sex.
Two of each.
Have
so
baby
that
animals.
They can procreate.
So they can have baby animals so they can burrow in JB's
like
front
that,
yard.
Like that seed fault in Sweden, so that plants can procreate when the apocalypse.
called?
Oh,
What
I
is
know
it
what you're talking about.
called?
You're
Oh,
talking about the stupid seed vault. No, I was gonna say just like have the baby rabbits so that they can live in JB's
A
front yard.
seed vault in Sweden.
Hey, you know what? I love the baby rabbits. I know that most people would hate the fact that
They're
they
cute.
have rodents. Rabbits are rodents,
Are they
right?
rodents?
I'm pretty sure
They're
they
so
are.
cute.
I feel
Yeah,
really
they
stupid
would
right
hate
now.
the fact that they had rodents in their
They're so damn
literally
cute,
inside
though.
their
I mean,
lawn.
it's like
But I was
Briar Rabbit or Brer Rabbit.
I know.
What
I
was the
felt
little
so.
rabbit
I
from-
felt so like loving
think it's-
and nurturing for this poor little baby rabbit. I was like, oh man, I guess maybe it's because I have kids and I was like,
Let me ask you a question.
Kids that
Did
made
you
you
take off your
suck,
shirt
JB.
and try to nurse the little rabbit?
no,
because it's got teeth.
Okay, that's good.
yeah, no, that's weird.
You think?
But I did think about going to get some lettuce, but I was like, you know what? They doesn't eat lettuce. They probably eat grass, or they eat.
Do they not eat lettuce? I bet you
Well,
honestly,
I thought they ate carrots.
you introduce them to lettuce. It's
Bugs
like
Bunny and Warner Brothers would like us to think that they eat carrots.
Maybe
They eat
really
everything,
carrots,
though.
dude. I think
Like-
they eat all vegetables.
my dad saw a
Probably.
rabbit in his backyard, and he's like, that's what's been eating my eggplant. And
But
I'm
I
like,
think
oh.
I think they eat more of the green leafy vegetables.
They like kale.
Yeah, they left
They
kale.
like kale and collard greens and Swiss chard.
There was a little Vitamix in the hole that I saw that they were making smoothies out of with
They were
kale.
making smoothies out of kale.
And and hemp hearts.
They like those
and,
leafy greens. They like vitamin
psyllium
K.
husks because they're all super regular.
Oh yeah, you gotta have psyllium husks, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just keeps everything flowing.
for sure.
What?
And that is about
This is a
forgiveness.
great-
Psyllium
so,
husk.
so please
Hopefully,
forgive us
promotion to your
for
colon health.
This episode going all over the place, but hey, you know
As
what?
most of our episodes typically
They
do.
all do. We keep it interesting. You guys have any housekeeping?
Housekeeping issues?
No, just
No, my house is a
housekeeping, it means like-
disaster right now.
Oh my god, no. Housekeeping.
I think he means
In a
like
professional sense, it just refers to like
I know.
ordinary
I know what it means.
practices.
Does
something
Steve
like
not know
that.
what it means?
No, he does. You guys are.
I do. I totally
We
do.
have to like paying the bills. You know.
Oh, by the
housekeeping.
way, speaking about housekeeping, so my parents have a Roomba, right? And if you don't have this
Those things
Roomba
freaking
thing,
scare me.
dude, I gotta be honest with you. So I brought it down to my house, and I was like, "All right, time to test you out, Roomba. I gotta see what you got." And at my parents' house, they have like carpet in like one of the rooms, and so like it had just a bunch of carpet. So I cleaned it out. I spent like 45 minutes like cleaning everything out, and then like, all right, cool, it's ready to roll now. I gotta be honest with you, that thing like attacked every single thing. Like I had a yoga mat on the floor, it like scrounged it up. I had like a rug that was hanging out there, it scrounged it up. But it actually did a pretty good job. Like, but it's kind of loud. It's a little bit loud. I don't know if they
Yeah.
have like quieter ones.
So that my house out here is on a crawl space. So basically, my floor is like a drum head. So and we're on the second floor. Or like my bedroom's on the second floor. So basically, when that thing's on, it's like a little
sounds like
drummer
a-
boy down here.
It sounds like a Guns N' Roses concert.
And then it hits a wall, and it's like.
Dude, it's pretty cool though, man. Like I gotta be honest with you, I like look at it and I'm like, I don't think it's gonna get that corner. And I'll watch it, like I'll literally watch it as though we're entertainment. And I'm like, I got that corner. No way, Roomba, you go, man. That's what I'm talking about. I'm proud of you, Roomba. Just keep doing
Proud
it.
of his Roomba.
No,
Steve gives his
it's-
Roomba some motivational speeches before.
Yeah,
he
I know.
goes.
I'm like, Roomba, you can do this. You were born to do this, literally. Okay, go ahead. I cleaned out your traps. I made sure your wheels are nice. Go ahead and start. Beep boop 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 beep boop 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 boop, and it goes and it does that for an hour. And I'm like, wow, it's like chopping down a tree. It's loud. I don't like it. Anyway,
Steve just like you were so excited about your Roomba at the beginning of the story, and now you're mad at the
no,
Roomba.
because honestly, it does save me time. I should probably just if I just have to get off the yoga mats and my rugs off the floor. That's
yeah, I
just
think
it,
that's
though.
probably a good idea.
I guess,
Yeah.
but it's pretty worth it. Shout out to Roomba,
Steve's.
iRobot and Roomba.
Yeah, thank you for sponsoring Nothing Roomba.
Thank you. Oh,
Sponsor this
man.
episode is Steve's Roomba, not the company, just the
Anyways.
actual.
But
vacuum.
JB, though, you have one though.
I do have a Roomba.
See, that's what I'm saying, man.
I don't like. So we have the one. I know there's one with like a camera on it now, and like the
What?
super crazy conspiratorial side of me thinks that it's like mapping the inside of everybody's house.
Oh, for sure, dude.
Well, and they learn. You know, they. I don't know how they do it, and maybe mine just kind of reacts, but apparently they like learn where not to go, and I'm like, how the hell do you know how to do that?
How does it know where not to go?
Dude, I don't
That's-
know. But
that's
if
the
that
whole
thing
thing.
starts being sentient, I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah.
You come out and your house is all clean, and your room is like, "Hey, JP, I cleaned your house.
It like broadcasts back to
now
Roomba
give me
headquarters
something.
what you spill on your floors.
Now give me something. I will require payment." Well, what would you like, Roomba? Your soul
I really like Honey Nut Cheerios
and your soul.
and your soul.
And then JB just has to play it the best song in the world, and then it'll
Yeah.
stop. What?
Into the crevasse.
Into the crevasse.
Anyways, God, how did we stray so far?
I think we're pretty much done.
This
Aha,
is
thank
just
you.
the natural progression of things, Steve. I don't know what you're
That is
talking
true.
about.
Well, this one has been kind of an interesting progression because usually we have like a
I
ramp
forgive
up,
you, Roomba.
and then we get somewhere, and then we have a crescendo, and then we start to
had
fall
we had a
apart, and then we end the
resurgence
episode.
of
This one was kind of
actually-
like a little up, and it was like a waveform, up and down, up and down, up and down.
it was
Steve
parabolic.
is making a weird sort of hip movement.
No, I was giving CPR to my koozie.
CPR to his
to my beer koozie.
Oh, your beer koozie. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought Steve was humping my table.
No, I was like, doing like this.
Oh, okay, got it. You're giving your 805 beer
Yeah,
koozie.
I bought
Shout
this.
out to Steve's sponsor, and by sponsor I mean they gave him a
No,
beer
they didn't
koozie.
give me this. I bought this for
Steve bought the
$3.
beer koozie for $3. Wow.
It was the best $3 I've ever spent in my life.
Wow, Steve.
I just love the 805.
They just, you know what? They just sort of preyed on your emotionalness to the
No, they
805.
did. They kind of
They
did.
totally did. Yeah, they
They knew
totally
I
took
was
advantage
low.
of you.
They
They
knew I
didn't
was
even
a
buy you
loke.
breakfast in the morning.
They knew I was a loke.
Anyways, well, you know what? Go forgive some people. Hey, you know what? Forgive yourself.
You
I don't
know what?
You're holding against yourself.
If not even
but
just
yourself.
forgive. The next time somebody wrongs you, just think about it. Just think about, hey, maybe I should forgive in this situation. And if you don't, that's fine. But you thought about it, and maybe the next time you will.
I gotta say, you know, getting a rise out of you is probably usually kind of exactly what is expected. Sometimes, if you want to be vengeful without being vengeful, sometimes not being so mad about something you should be mad about is kind of fun.
Yep.
Just saying.
You can do anything you want in this world. You literally are stopped by nothing.
Yeah.
Why would you honestly
Except for
want to
physics.
carry? Beyond the physics, beyond the physical stuff. Like, why would you want to carry that hurt, that anguish, that pain? You can let it go today, and the only person that'll know that was able to forgive will be you, and you can be proud of that. You can hang your hat on that. You can honestly go to sleep at night and just say, hey, I'm free of something today. Maybe you're not free of bills. Maybe you're not free of your work stress or your family stress or a crazy situation that's going on X and Y, Z elsewhere in your life. But maybe you can honestly take a proactive step in freeing yourself up from something
You're right.
that bothered
It is
you.
a way to
That's a
alleviate some of that emotional
great
pressure. That's
point,
for
and
sure.
It's almost like a tank of compressed air or something, or
Yeah.
a freaking, you know, a crock pot or whatever. You know, any of this, something with a lot of pressure in it. You have to release the pressure, otherwise it can blow. And I mean, Steve, you have a great point there. We have so much stress in our life already. Something that is stupid, like, you know, someone cuts you off or something. Like, why bother adding extra stress to that for that? Like, it is what it is. It already happened. Let it go.
Done.
Let it go.
Like, we're going to let this podcast go.
We are going to let this episode go, not the whole podcast. Steve.
Oh, sorry.
It's still all right.
Just this episode I meant. You know what
So, JB, final thoughts?
I think we've already kind of gone over them.
All right,
Like I said earlier, just, you know what? If it comes to that, just think about forgiving them. Just take a second and don't react emotionally. Try to react intelligently, intellectually in that situation. And you even just thinking that you're trying to not react emotionally will help you because it'll give you time. It's that, like, you know, when you tell little kids count to 10 or count to 3 when you get mad. That's all you're doing is you're allowing your mind to think about it in a non-emotional way.
And you're doing it for you. I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, you're not forgiving anyone for their sake. You're forgiving. And I mean, sometimes, obviously, we've covered some examples where it is and it helps, but ultimately, you're doing it for you. I mean, you're mad because they did something to you and you have an emotional reaction to it. But ultimately, if you don't have that reaction, or if you think about the reaction, then you're less harmed than you were. And then that's what you're mad about in the first place. So it's really a win-win, guys.
For sure.
All right. Well, until next time, it's been fun. This is Tim, Steve, and JB, in the far off southern land, saying peace out.
Be good, y'all.
Bye.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.